people away from your television set. Our congressional correspondent Candy Crowley joins us from the Hill.
Bernie, as you know, this is an enormous undertaking, and we thought we'd use our cameras around town to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. First, the videotape. That will be coming out of the Rayburn office building. This is the same building that houses many members of Congress where they have their offices. It's also where the Judiciary Committee meets. It is out of this room, which is a sort of a small studio, a small broadcast center for congressional members, that this tape will be distributed to the broadcast outlets, all the networks, and others who will then almost simultaneously replay that for their various audiences. There is as well about 2,800 pages worth of documents, including the transcript of the president's grand jury testimony. At the General Printing Office, they have in fact spent the entire weekend making copies of that. What you're looking at right now are people lined up outside the government printing office where they'll be able to purchase a copy of this 2,800 pages worth of backup documents, including the grand jury testimony of the president. So what is that phrase? They also serve who only stand and wait. That is pretty much where we are here on Capitol Hill, waiting for this to come out. I can tell you that what most congressional members are doing at this point, although most of them are not on Capitol Hill today, the House is not in session. The Senate is in session as of about noon, but many of the Jewish members are gone for the holidays, so we don't expect any business of any significance to transpire on the Senate floor. In any case, what lawmakers really are hoping for at this point is a quick end. The longer it goes on, the more suggestions the president is getting. The latest from John Kerry.
The President of the United States should go before the Judiciary Committee soon, this week, next week after, under oath, testify, and then let the Judiciary Committee make up its mind here.
The White House says that it welcomes all suggestions, but also notes that they believe the atmosphere up here right now is quite partisan, and it would not be helpful for the president to appear, as Senator Kerry has suggested. Candy Crowley, CNN Live, Capitol Hill.
All right, thank you, Candy. Well, our Washington Bureau Chief Frank Sesno joins us on our set this morning. Frank, we know what John Kerry is proposing. You've been talking to other friends and supporters of the president.
John Kerry isn't alone, Judy. There's a growing sense among especially outside friends and supporters of the president, as well as some top aides inside the White House. And there are some regular conversations, I understand, going on now, that a very dramatic change in the dynamic needs to occur. Maybe along the lines of what Senator Kerry is proposing, that's not seen as an accident, or maybe something else. Now, I'm told that there's no gelling yet. The president himself has by no means signed on to this, but that he is going to have to take some dramatic step, according to his friends and supporters outside of the White House, to change this whole thing. Among the things that are being discussed, Senator Kerry's proposal or something like it, where he goes to the Hill and talks to the House Judiciary Committee and answers their questions. Maybe even, this is another idea that's swirling around, some kind of joint session, this would be unprecedented, of the Senate and House Judiciary Committees together and answers their questions, or some kind of sit-down situation where he's talking to one or more respected people. Walter Cronkite was a name that was suggested, or other anchors, where it's a conversation, not a speech, but where the president takes a very bold, dramatic step to change this whole thing, because, as many are now seeing it, this has a momentum all of its own, and unless something comes along to change that, the president is purely on defense.
Does that make sense when the whole process revolves around the men and women on the House Judiciary Committee? President Clinton talking to me, Judy Woodruff, Walter Cronkite, or anybody has no relevancy.
It may not. It may not, Bernie. I spoke with a Democratic senator, a liberal, a friend of the president's yesterday, who said, look, this thing is very much in the 11th hour. We've got to focus on the process. Our hope here is to slow it down. Many people, even Republicans, say this thing needs to slow down a little bit so the American people don't get a sense that it's being railroaded. It may be on track. It may be barreling down the tracks, but folks don't want a sense of railroading here. Nonetheless, there are many people, increasingly it would seem here in Washington, who think the president himself is going to have to do something more than just make speeches and try to convey business as usual, because it is not business as usual.
Indeed, it's not. Frank Sesno. Well, there is other news going on in the world today, believe it or not, and we're going to take a look after this break.
And we'll have the latest on a strong hurricane that is howling its way across the Caribbean.
Invesco, we know that before we invest your money with a company, we look deep into that company. We know with whom they do business, where they do business, and what kind of business they do. And we even learn a thing or two about who they really are. Invesco, a family of no-load funds. Over 65 years of experience, a global perspective. You should know what Invesco knows.
You know those too old, too small, never should have been bought suits hanging in the back of your closet? Trade them in and take $100 off any suit. No exceptions.
Right now, trade in an old suit and Joseph A. Bank will give you $100 off any suit or any sport coat with dress trousers. There are no exceptions. The Joseph A. Bank trade-in sale. $100 off any suit or sport coat with dress trousers.
Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo, recommended #1 by dermatologists. It works. Works on all 3 major itchy, flaky scalp conditions. The leading dandruff shampoo doesn't. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. It works.
Oh man, it was like this. What?
Quiznos oven-baked classics. If you want your sub toasted, you gotta go to Quiznos.
I want to put you in a
new GMC Yukon
Denali. No payments ever.
Visit any Red Roof Inn before October 31st and enter to win a new
Yukon Denali. And the price?
I'm giving it away. No payments ever.
Ever.
Imagine.
Yeah.
I'll do this. A new Yukon Denali from Red Roof Inn.
Plus, you could win a year's worth of AT&T prepaid calling. Every guest gets a free AT&T prepaid card. Call us crazy. But call us today.
And with a smile. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF. Red Roof Inns. Nice people and an honest value.
In less than 30 minutes, we expect to begin airing President Clinton's videotaped grand jury testimony in its entirety.
For now, Leon Harris joins us from Atlanta with the very latest on Hurricane George and other news. Leon?
That's right, Bernie. Judy, thanks very much. Lots of other news to talk about this morning as well. Normally considered a vacationer's paradise, several islands in the Caribbean are being hammered by Hurricane George this morning. With maximum sustained winds of 110 miles an hour, George is now considered a strong Category 2 hurricane. It is about 45 miles south of St. Martin in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it's moving west-northwest at about 17 miles an hour. It's expected to draw near Puerto Rico later today. We're watching that. In fact, CNN's John Zarrella is watching it even closer than we are. He is in San Juan, Puerto Rico this morning, where folks are preparing for the onslaught of Hurricane George. John joins us now with an update. John?
Leon, I can tell you that the folks here certainly are prepared. It's amazing on the streets right now. No traffic for a Monday morning. Police officers are out everywhere patrolling. Everything is completely boarded up. The boarding up began yesterday afternoon. You could see everywhere in San Juan, here in the business district, in the hotel district, on every shop, on every apartment building, in every hotel. You had aluminum shutters going up. You had plywood going up. No one is taking any chances at all with this hurricane. They have vivid memories of Hugo in '89, and when Hugo came through here in '89, its maximum winds were only 90 miles an hour in gusts. So people here are saying this could be the very, very worst hurricane they've experienced since 1928, the San Felipe hurricane, which killed a couple of hundred people. And perhaps even worse than any winds that might hit here would be the torrential rains. This area, because it's so mountainous, particularly on the south side of the island, terribly susceptible to mudslides. That is a real concern here, and a very, very possible danger for the people who live in the mountainous regions of Puerto Rico. So watching it closely, winds beginning to pick up. We can tell there's a storm in the distance. This is John Zarrella reporting live. Back to you, Leon.
All right. Thanks much, John. We'll be talking to you throughout the day down there on the beach. Let's go over now to the Weather Center, and Dave Hennon standing by. Dave?
Thanks, Leon. Some of the outer bands beginning to reach Puerto Rico at the present time. You can tell by our radar. This is out of Puerto Rico, by the way, so we're not getting the full hurricane shot because it is so far away still from San Juan, but you can see clearly the eye of the hurricane right there. And in St. Thomas, winds are now clocked at over 60 miles per hour in gusts. So some of the worst beginning to move in towards the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Latest stats we have, these are just off from the Hurricane Center as of 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It is now 75 miles east of St. Croix, that is in the Virgin Islands, with winds at 110 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 17. And hurricane warnings are in effect for the northern leewards all the way back through, including the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico and now into the Dominican Republic as well. Forecast track of George over the next couple of days, showing the center right here now. And as we head into early Wednesday morning, kind of a worst case scenario for Puerto Rico, because this is the most dangerous part of the storm, the front right quadrant, and that's going to go right over Puerto Rico, probably right over much of Hispaniola. Too early to tell, Leon, if this storm will affect the U.S.
All right, thanks, Dave. You'll be on your toes today. Uncertainty over plans to revive Japan's feeble banking system pushed Tokyo stocks down, dragging other Asian markets down as well. In Tokyo, the Nikkei stock average lost nearly 386 points today. That is 2.76%, and that is its lowest close in 12 years. Stocks in Hong Kong and Singapore dropped as well. Keep our eye on Wall Street, trading their openings in about an hour from now. NASA is hoping U.S. taxpayers will help bail out Russia's end of the International Space Station. According to today's Washington Post, NASA wants Congress to spend an additional $660 million to pay for Russian space vehicles and services. That money would be spread out over 4 years to help pay Russia's cost of getting equipment built and also pay some wages for Russian space workers. Let's talk sports this morning now. Steve Bartlestein is down at CNN Sports Illustrated. This is one of the rare occasions when an athlete gets a standing ovation for doing nothing. Steve?
Well said, Leon. Waking to find an Orioles box score sans Cal Ripken's name is almost eerie. After all, it's been 16 years that we've watched this Iron Man taking his place on the field for Baltimore. Now he will take his rightful place in baseball history. 2,632 games later, the fans would say thanks. Cal would bow again to the masses, and the moment was complete. Ripken came into his manager's office 10 minutes before game time and said it was time. With prospect Ryan Miner penciled in, but no one may ever rewrite this piece of baseball lore. And as for the unusual timing, Ripken explained.
I guess I just want to say it was time. Baseball's always been a team game, and I've always believed the focus should be on the team. And there's been times during the streak where the focus was on the streak, and I've never really felt totally comfortable about that.
As for Big Mac yesterday, can't forget about him.
There it goes! See you later! 65!
And then what should have been 66, but umpire Bob Davidson ruled that a fan reached over and interfered. You decide. 66 turned into a ground rule double.
After further review, it looked like it was a home run. Guy never came into play.
The Wisconsin man seemingly falsely accused will have his day in court. He was ejected from the game, cited for criminal trespassing, and fined $518. Bernie, Judy, the good news is they let him keep his children and the ball. Back upstairs to you in Washington.
Thanks very much, Steve. Your name is Ernest Fritz Hollings. You are a Senate Democrat from South Carolina. How are the troubles of the leader of your party affecting your effort to get reelected? Well, when we come back, Bruce Morton will tell us about it.
So good, so sweet. Don't bananas want a treat. Don't bananas rock and roll.
Cool. Dole. D-O-L-E, dole.
Something is happening. Something extraordinary. And business will never be the same. Because UUNet is advancing the internet, growing our network 1,000% per year, adding thousands of miles of fiber and hundreds of thousands of new modem ports, helping millions do more, faster, better, making us the leading internet communications company, uniting the world of business. UUNet, a WorldCom company.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring. It's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard-to-color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Introducing a sports sedan that sets a new standard of performance and a touring sedan that sets a new standard of luxury. Here they are. Introducing the new TL with the satellite-linked navigation system from Acura.
I'm watching you, CNN.
As we await the release of the videotapes, politics is in the air. Congressional Democrats fear voter frustration over the Clinton sex scandal could cost them their jobs in November. Well, perhaps their worst worry that Democratic voters will be so disillusioned they stay home on Election Day or opt for Republican candidates. CNN's Bruce Morton takes a look at one campaign, that of U.S. Democratic Senator Fritz Hollings of South Carolina.
Yeah.